Well, good morning. Welcome back to my channel and another video about landscape photography this time. And I'm in Wadenhoe in Northamptonshire, which is just not too far away from Thrapston. And I'm in search of a watermill, or what used to be a watermill. There's quite a few around here, so I think I'm just coming up to it now. So stay tuned and let's see what we can make of this. Okay, so let me show you the composition I've got. This is my scene. And you've got the old mill there. The water's coming down here, flowing through here into these reeds just down here. So what I've done is set the camera up on the tripod. It's a bit tricky actually, because I can't get the tripod over this rail here. Because the tripod legs are too far apart to fit on the bridge. So I've had to shoot through the rails, and then with the wide angle lens it's a bit tricky not to get this in or this in. So I've just about managed it. The tripod's tilted slightly forward, and I've got my composition. So this is what I'm looking at the moment. So we've got the reeds here in the foreground and leading up to the mill there. Just a little bit of trees on the left and trees on the right, and the old cottages on the right hand side as well, just to frame the picture. And I'm hoping that the sky up here will light up. It's not quite sunrise yet, but behind me the sky is getting very pink indeed. So I'm hoping that we might get some kind of lighting on those clouds. So let's just wait and see. Sunrise is in about 10 minutes. Well, this shot's going to take a little bit of work because even at f16 I can't quite get the very front of the reeds down here in focus. So I think I'm going to go back to f11 and focus stack this shot. And I might have to bracket as well to do an exposure blend, because the dynamic range between the foreground down here in the shade of the trees and into the water, I might yet use a polariser as well to get into the water to reduce the reflections. So the dynamic range between that and the sky at the moment is a bit too great. So I might be using either bracketing or an ND grad to hold back the exposure on the sky, and a polariser. So I'm just going to think about doing that. So it's a bit nerve-wracking when you're screwing in a filter ring and putting a polariser, an expensive bit of glass, on a bridge over a river where there's not a lot of room to move. Let's hope it doesn't fall in, eh? Okay, we're on. Okay, so I think that's it. I've got the polariser on at the moment, which is kind of seeing into the water a little bit just down here. And I've got a 3-stop soft edge ND grad on, just holding back the top half of the frame, or just a little bit further on up than that, maybe the top third or a quarter of the frame, just where the top of the sky is, just above the mill. And I've been shooting at f11, and I've done a 3-image focus stack of the reeds down here, the mid-ground and the building itself. And I've not actually bracketed because I've found that using the ND grad is perfectly sufficient. So I tried to do that instead. So I'm just going to carry on shooting here for a little bit longer. The cloud, there's just a few wispy bits of cloud above the building now. But there's another couple of bits of cloud just slightly further up, out of frame, which is just starting to pick up some pink from the sunrise. So I'm hoping that we might get something a little bit more than that very shortly. So I'm going to carry on shooting, and we'll see what we get, huh? This is the composition I'm working with, filmed from my camera on the tripod. I've not been to this particular location before, and so I planned this shoot last night using the PhotoPills app to understand the direction of the sunrise, which is over my right shoulder. And it almost worked, apart from a bank of cloud just above the horizon and thick foliage on the trees behind me blocking the direct golden sunlight. I think it might be worth coming back here in the late autumn or early winter when the angle of the sunrise is further towards the southeast, where there are fewer trees and when they will have shed some of their leaves. Well, it looks like there's a bank of cloud on the horizon now which is blocking the sun a little bit, so I don't think I'm going to get these clouds lighting up, and in any case they're a bit above the frame now. So my next hope is that once the sun gets above that bank of cloud, we might get the sun, like the golden light of the sun on the actual building itself. So I'm just going to hang around and see if that materialises. Looking on the back of my camera, you can see that I have focus peaking turned on. All the red areas are in focus. And so at f11 with the mill in focus, the reeds in the water in the foreground at the bottom edge of the frame are slightly out of focus. This was the case at f16 too, which is why I decided to focus stack the final image. Okay, so I think I'm going to call it a day there. I've been shooting for the past 50 minutes or so since sunrise, and that bank of cloud did get in the way a little bit, but there's a lot of trees and foliage around here which is kind of blocking the sun, direct sun onto the building itself, while the sun was low and nice and orange. But now the sun's got quite high up. It is actually lighting up the building quite nicely, and I've taken a few shots, so I think it's a case of getting them into the computer and see what is the best, which is the usual story really. So I think I'm going to get these pictures into the computer, figure out which one's best, which ones I like the most, and I'll do some exposure blending and focus stacking, focus blending I should say, in Photoshop, and I'll put the picture up for you to see right now. Don't forget to like this video, and thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.